Yeah, and it's for charity. I don't like punching people in the face, but it's for a good cause. So I'm pretty excited and nervous.
Nice.
Dude, you got to come to Edmonton so we can train together.
Yeah, there's another reason why.
Sorry, when is that?
It's July 7th, and everything that we raised last year, they raised 25 grand, and everything that we raise is going towards kids in need, like youth in trouble or girls, like abused girls and stuff like that. So I'm excited to be able to raise as much as possible. I'm going to put in a link on my page and everywhere to try and raise as much as possible.
Awesome. Well, the Epic team will commit to contributing to a good cause.
I have zero doubt.
Awesome, brother. Any victories business-wise?
Yeah, I got, was it yesterday, I think? Liam joined the team, and he's doing his work right now to get his trifecta. He's super, super excited. He sees exactly what we see, and yeah, he's pumped. So I'm really pumped for him. And yeah, that'd probably be it.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Trifecta is the only way to go. Best way to go. Awesome. Awesome, yeah. Thanks for sharing. Who else would like to share a victory? Come on. Who's sharing?
Hey, Kevin.
Yes.
I guess victory I could talk about is starting an ad 3 days ago and having 5 leads.
Awesome work. Yes. Congratulations, Ron. You showed me that screenshot. I'm like, wow, you're getting leads already. People commenting on his ad, and
yeah,
more than one a day.
Yeah.
Phenomenal work.
Can I ask, Ron, if the ad you posted, was it the one you shared with us last week, and did you make some changes to it, or some to
I completely scrapped that ad.
So you scrapped it, you redid a new one, and then launched it.
That's right.
And and I assume you were using some of the tips from our Transformational Tuesdays and our masterminds?
I did.
I love that. That's just proof of studying this system.
You bet.
Awesome. And Ron's getting his products right away as well.
You bet.
Ron, what was it that you were saying? You're like, after you did the research, you're like, I have to get one of these?
Well, all I've done is educate myself since the day I walked into the bar and met you. So
we didn't meet at the bar. He didn't pick me up. I didn't pick him up. We actually had a sit-down meeting.
Yes. Okay. A sit-down meeting, and I'm just thoroughly impressed with the machines, and I don't know what else to tell you.
Cool. Other than your wife really, really wants one as well.
Yes.
Yeah. Awesome, Ron. Thanks for sharing, man.
Yeah.
Great job. Keep up the great work, and split test that now. You've had it for 3 days. Split test it. Go into insights and find out how you can get even better lead cost.
Right. I'm doing it's running, and I'm running a split right now in 3 different areas.
Beautiful. Awesome. Great job, Ron.
Thanks.
Okay, who's next? Who else would like to share? Oh, by the way, welcome Liam and welcome Bonnie. You guys are new to the mastermind, so welcome, guys. Glad to have you as part of our team mastermind here tonight. Don't be afraid to show your face and speak up. So who else would like to share victory?
I'll share something, and I don't know if I said this last week or not, but I don't think I did, because I was at my mom's last weekend, and my mom is kind of a tough nut when it comes to anything that I've ever done in terms of network marketing or MLM. And she actually, in conversation with me, because I'm always raving about our water, and I bring 2 big thermoses when I come to her place, and been working to help her out, and I bring a great big jug of my 9.5 with me, and so she starts drinking the 9.5 with me, and then she starts asking me a few questions about it. And she even indicated that when she moves out of her place and moves into a new place, that she's probably going to need to have one of those machines. So that's awesome. Huge. That's absolutely freaking incredible. That's awesome, Angela. Great win. Love it when you win over the skeptics, right? Oh, yeah. Especially when they're family. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think she sees how sort of vibrant I am and how, my heels don't hurt anymore because I've been drinking the water, and I'm always bringing my water with me. And I think it's kind of rubbing off like, well, maybe she needs some, she's getting older and maybe it'll do something for me. And so it was kind of cool.
Very cool, Ange. Very cool. And I know you have lots of pending sales coming in.
Oh yeah, we just got kind of a confirmation of something. Hopefully that'll be like pretty cool, and yeah, it's gonna be great.
Awesome, Ange. Great work. Great work.
Thank you.
Let's
after watching I guess an off the track video regarding the water, the biggest tip that I picked up from this video was you don't have to sell the machine, you just have to give the water away.
Yeah. True.
Yeah.
That's just about how I've made all my sales, just so you know, so far.
Right.
I've been more offline. I want to do what you're doing though, Ron, so I got to get my button gear and get on the ad deal.
Yes, you do, Ange. You've got you've got everything you need to go blow it up. Your experience and your expertise. So great job. Let's take a couple more.
I'd like to share. I didn't think of it as much of a win, just an experience that happened to me today. But then Angela shared hers with her mom, so I'm like, I guess it is a win. My dad was complaining at work today about his arthritis and stuff was bothering him, and his arms and stuff hurt. And I was like, hey, Dad, you should try drinking this water that I'm drinking, that I have in a separate jug, right? And he was like, why? And I was like, maybe it might help you with pain and arthritis and inflammation and stuff like that. And usually he's a pretty closed off person, and he's like, I don't like new things. But he was like, don't you have 2 of those jugs? Bring me the other one tomorrow. So for the first time, he is finishing that bottle tomorrow because I'm pouring it out of my machine, and he's not wasting it. So he's drinking that entire jug tomorrow.
That's awesome. Way to go, Joanne.
And I have to say too, Joanne, like I just talked to somebody who wants it for that exact reason, for pain and arthritis. And I think a good combo, and you correct me if I'm wrong, Kevin, is to give them a sleeve of the Ukon as well, or give them a package of the Ukon as well.
Oh, okay.
Because the anti-inflammatory part of that in combination with that water would be like ultimate.
Okay.
I think, anyway. What do you think, Kevin?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great idea, Angela, for sure.
Yeah,
I'll actually say that's my personal health story using the product. I've had knee joint pain for 20 years because I was an avid runner when I was younger. I was always in races, and my knees went to shit. I've tried the typical over-the-counter stuff, medicinal stuff at stores. Until I started taking Ukon consistently, I don't have joint pain in my knees. I used to go up a flight of stairs like 5 steps, and I would literally be in pain in my knees. And as long as I'm taking Ukon, no pain in my knees, no joint pain, no inflammation. So yeah, I would say the combination of both. I'd give him one of your boxes to try it out for a period of time. If it's bad, tell him to take 10 a day, 5 in the morning, 5 end a day.
Yeah.
If it's mild, 5. But for me, I swear by the Ukon.
Yeah,
I was just going to ask you, how many should he take, 5 or 10? I'm going to start him off with 10 because he complains quite a bit.
Yeah, I do 5 in the morning, 5 at night, I think, along with the water. But if he's highly toxic, I would maybe give him an 8.5 water first, or maybe a 9, and let him know that he is going to detox, which is a good thing because arthritis is caused by toxins in the joints. That's what causes the inflammation, is my understanding. And so just let him kind of know that he might feel kind of, like detoxing for a few days. So if you start him hard on the 9.5, unless he's a tough guy, he may not be able to handle that. So you start him gently and let him know that it is a process of detox.
Okay, thank you.
Awesome. Remus, did you want to say something?
Yeah, no, with that 9.5, you know what? Once you start drinking that, we've getting clients 9.5, and say drink 3 to 4 liters a day, and you are going to detox. Like whether you're drinking 8.5, 9.5, you're going to detox. You're going to taste metal in your mouth. You're going to feel sick. You're going to have headaches, and that's just the toxics coming out of your body. So, yeah.
I mean, it depends on how your body is, because I know when I started on the 9.5, but I was pretty clean eating before that. So
yeah, no, that's exactly right. But if you're eating crap, it's not going to.
Yeah.
Like Kevin's still on 8.0.
No, I'm on 9.5. I've been on 9.5 since day one. The dogs are on 9.5. Our cat's on 9.5. Everybody's on 9.5.
Yeah, my dog and cat are on 9.5. That's funny.
Yeah.
Just let them know that, though. Like, that's the thing about it. You want people to have an experience that makes sense. And if you are sharing water, just let them know the process, and you could even get them on the Facebook page, get them watching that video that Dr. Michael made. And that way they can have they'll understand fully what's going on. And it'll really benefit them mentally, because mentally sometimes you have to go through a bit of a tough time when you're detoxing, and you can get through it. And it's important that you do, because it's on the other side is, health. Yeah.
Yeah. What the thing is, Angela, people just don't understand that, though. That's the tough part.
Yeah, and I think that's why you need to connect them in with that Facebook video get them in the friends and family group, the Elixir group. So you can say, look, a lot of people don't understand it. Say that to them and say, so this is why we've got an absolutely incredible sort of overview from a doctor who also was skeptical, but he has been studying and researching and pulling apart the whole process of the Kangen water machine. And just kind of do a little background dealy on it before you introduce them to it, and just tell them it'll help them understand better. It really is important, I think, to have people watch that, and let them know it's an hour and a half long. Say, sit down with a glass of wine or a glass of water or something, and take the time to watch it. Don't let them think it's a 5-minute quick overview.
Yeah.
Really set them up properly for it, because that is the key, right? That they have an understanding of the depth of what this is about.
You know what, Kevin, what I'll do is that me and Mandy we'll do a video on carpet cleaning with 11.5, which we've done before. And actually we'll do a video and post it on the group page too. And that way you guys can share that as well, because it's absolutely amazing.
Oh my God, I didn't even know you did that. That's super amazing.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh my gosh. Cool.
Yeah.
I have a rainbow. I've got to clean my mom's house. I'm doing 11.5 then. That's very cool.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, no, but so, well, what you do, you clean the carpet, and then you dump out the dirty water, and it's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
But now you're not using chemicals or anything, you're just using water. Yeah.
Totally awesome. Cool.
Wow. Very cool.
All right.
Well, that's awesome. We obviously a lot of product victories this week. I want to go over some challenges. Who had some challenges this week that either you overcame or you're still looking for a solution? I want to open this up where we can be completely honest and transparent around our challenges and leverage the support of this team and the community and the leaders within, so that everybody has the access to people and to the knowledge and the insight to be able to overcome those challenges.
I'll go quickly.
Yes, Mr. Tremblay, go ahead.
This whole last month, I've had different issues, but one of them was when we came back from Vegas. And by the way, in Vegas, I got hooked up really good, but I still spent quite a bit of money. And when I came back, my BMW broke down, and I haven't had it since. And it's cost me thousands and thousands of dollars to get repaired. Plus, I have to rent a car every single day, so I've had to actually shut my ads off for the last 2-3 weeks for the first time in a very, very long time. But that forced me to really reach out into my warm market, and I'm actually having a lot of success with that right now. I know I'm gonna have a few signups coming up next few weeks. So that's probably my biggest win right now, because even though I took a bad situation and turned it into a good one, so I'm kind of proud of that one.
As you should be, Yan. As you should be. No, that's awesome. Great work, man.
Thanks.
And those BMWs, man, unless you have warranty, they are a pain in the ass.
Yep.
Awesome. Anybody else have a challenge that they've had to face over the last week or so that they want help with or would like to discuss?
I'll go.
Yeah, of course, Ryan. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I have a couple friends in the neighborhood and people, you know, that I'm good friends with, and I've wanted to talk to them about it for a little while, the product, and you know, not really pitching like hard with the sale. Just you know, give them the information and kind of open their eyes a little bit and just let them make the decision, right? Like I'm not here to push anybody. So and I've been struggling with it for a while, and I've been really wanting to talk to them, and I've kind of been thinking to myself, how do I go about approaching them and things like that. Anyway, this week I gathered the courage and I talked to two people, and yeah, it went pretty well, you know, and it's just a thing of getting more confident talking about what you're doing and being confident in your own situation. So yeah, it's out there a little bit, and I'm going to keep every week. I want to try and talk to more people. So that's going to give me more confidence, and I think that's going to translate to more toward my ads too and my online presence too as well. So
awesome, Ryan. Does anybody have feedback for Ryan on talking to warm market? I know we've got a couple of pretty seasoned networkers here, so
I do. It's actually a good question and great solution you had. And first of all, Ryan, kudos for, you know, really believing in not only yourself, because it does come in believing in yourself, but the belief in yourself, I really feel from getting to know you, came through your belief in our community in this company. Because the more I see you engaging in your business, that means your belief is also growing, right? Mm-hmm. And that transcends into your communication with the people around you. I actually was on a mastermind just the other day, and this was just in regards to sales and stuff like that. It had nothing to do with gas, but it had to do with sales, speaking to people, so you don't come across as salesy. So I don't know about you guys, but just by like raise of hands, does anyone here hate feeling salesy when they're talking to like their friends or family and stuff like that, right? Of course, it sucks. So some of the great ways that I've been learning to communicate with people is literally, it's a tool that we use called the relationship funnel. So you know how we create lead funnels of people we don't know? When it comes to your warm market, I would say build relationship funnels. And it doesn't necessarily have to be online, but building that relationship funnel comes from you being your natural self, always acting and thinking and feeling in your natural state of joy. So, and that's actually something that has come out of you more often, Ryan, is you feeling more and more natural at what you're doing versus struggling at what you're doing, right? Mm. And, you know, I think a lot of it is just being calm, cool, collected, and not being afraid to ask your friends the things that they're passionate about. So I find for anyone here who wants to approach their warm market, their friends and family, you can do so by always first focusing on the relationship where they're at and finding if there's a need. Now, I know we easily try to look for pain points, but I find when you focus on your warm market, don't focus on the pain points, focus on the passion points. Focus on the things they really, really love and highlight why they want to do it more often. Wouldn't that be cool to do it during the weekday and not have to, you know, when I was working my job, I used to cross my fingers the sun would be out by the time I finished my shift so I can go out and enjoy the weather. Or it would rain on the darn weekend after working the whole week and I couldn't go out and do the outdoor things I wanted to do. So I was able to shift my life to now I don't have to work around someone else's schedule to enjoy the outdoors, the weather and stuff like that. I found when I started to change my communication and talking about passion versus pain, my warm market started to connect with me more naturally because talking about pain is not natural. Talking about passion is. And uncovering their passion and talking about what you love. And when I talk about passion, I mean the adventures you like to go on, the places you like to eat, the trips you want to take, but also talk about the things you have done. If you love quadding, for example, and you go quadding in the summer all the time, oh my gosh, I just love quadding. Your speaking, your body language is in its natural state. that is where you are most approachable. So if that helps in any way with anyone to at least open up the relationship funnel, and then you can start talking business after. But it starts with where your state of mind is when you're with your warm market. Because if you're awkward, uncomfortable, talking about pain, you're going to trip over your own words. But if you are in a mental, comfortable space of just being you, it's so much easier. I hope that helped.
Yeah, that helps a lot, Tammy. Thanks a lot. And just to add to that, my mom's on the call right now. She's one of the new ones, Bonnie.
Hi, Mom.
And she's when I first started, I blocked my parents because I didn't, I'm on Facebook on my personal page for a little bit, and then they kind of found out anyway. But now she's in, and my sister's in as well. So, but I was at my parents' house on the weekend, and we did a bit of a demo for my sister-in-law, and I just started talking about the online stuff, and I got, just because I'm passionate about it now, I got into a flow state, and you just couldn't stop me talking. And then, now she really liked the demo, and I was like, oh, it didn't go so well. And then later she was like, I was pretty impressed. So yeah, once you get into your passion, you just, you are natural, and it's add a lot of, it's going to be pretty powerful. So
Yeah.
Thank you.
Great job, Ryan. I got to say that's something that I feel, or in my experience, most people, they allow that hurdle to block them from finding their passion, because they start thinking, okay, what are people going to think? Are they going to ridicule me? Are they going to criticize me? But when you really dig deep on, again, it sounds cliche, but you're going to dig deep on your why. Most people don't get passionate about a product, but they get passionate about the outcomes. They get passionate about the results. So if you think past features and benefits, past the product, what does the product do for you? What does the opportunity and the business do for you? And you get really deep and connected with that, then nothing will stop you. Because all the product does is it becomes a vehicle or a symbol of what you want to create. And that's why when people are passionate about products, it's not because they love shampoo or they love water or they love car parts or they love what it does for them. They love what it symbolizes. They love what it represents. So the clearer you can get on your goals and your outcomes, then you will naturally become more passionate about GAZ, about the online marketing, about Enagic, about the water and the benefits. Because those aren't the things that really fuel you. You don't wake up in the morning and be like, oh my God, I cannot believe that I have 3 liters of 9.5 to drink today. Woohoo, I'm so excited. Nobody does that. You might say, hey, I'm thankful for my 9.5, but it's not something that really lights the fire. What lights the fire is what that 9.5 is going to do for you and your family and the people that you will be able to impact through it.
Yeah. Ryan, what went wrong with your demos?
Apparently nothing, but no, when we were trying to do the vegetables, I just had a more of an expectation, right? I was hoping the water would be a bit dirtier or whatever, but and yeah, just some of the waters that when we were adding, we put the pH drops in, and then we added the Kangen water after the 9.5, and some of them didn't change as fast and go as dark as I thought they would, but that's just my expectation, right? But the people that were watching were impressed. So I mean, again, that's just another thing of another learning experience, I guess, for me. Is that, sometimes when I do a go live or whatever, I think, oh, that was crappy, and then other people are commenting and saying it was really good. So sometimes we're too hard on ourselves.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for sharing that.
Awesome work, Ryan. Any other tips on talking to warm market? Who else has done warm market?
Yeah, just come from a place of service. I mean, yes, we all want to make a commission, but at the end of the day, it's not about us. We know what this water and what the system and whatever it is, even if it's health or finances, we know we can change people's lives. So right away, if you just want to share the water, I would just say, like, look, like, if you saw what I saw as far as testimonies after people drink this water, it's ridiculous. All I want is more data. Like, do you have any, like, what do you have in your life right now? Like, do you feel like you're tired more than you should be? Like, do you have any pains that you can think of? And then just drink this water for 3 weeks. I'm going to give it to you for free. And all I want is your feedback. That's all I'm asking. People really appreciate that. And what's going to happen too is because you're already pinpointing something before they do it, they're going to focus on that right away. So there's no way they're not going to see results. My results were a little smaller than most people because I was pretty healthy already. I was pretty athletic. I noticed it in my sleep, in my energy, and at the gym. I have a lot more endurance than I used to, but I never had headaches. My joints were never that sore. So usually the unhealthier the person is, the more the results you're going to see. But just ask them. Everyone's got a little something that they can improve on. And if you focus on that right away and tell them all you want is data back and give them free water, they're going to appreciate the shit out of that. And odds are, once you cut them off from the water after 3 weeks to a month, they're going to come back to you.
Yeah, it's being consistent. Most of our warm market, sure, I'd say most. That's an overgeneralization. But there's a lot of people that are in our warm market that, because of their past experience or their past perception of you, don't see you as either a salesperson or a business person. So when you start to talk about something that's business, but they don't see you in a business context, that's where there is a misalignment with their perspective. It's nothing that you've done wrong. So when you're talking to warm market, it's really key to be consistent and not shy away, not turn away, not move away, but to continue to talk positively about what you're doing, about embracing the people that you're around, and sharing the things that you learn. Because now we're gonna say, wow, Ryan, he's been at this for like 3 months. Wow, he's still going. I'm impressed. You know, maybe they would have said, oh, geez, I know Ryan since he was like 5 years old. When he was 5 years old, he couldn't pay attention to anything for like longer than 15 minutes. Right? So they have that old perception of you. They don't see you as the business person, and that's okay. But that's where you can change your influence with those people by how you communicate and how consistent you are. Because now they see you still making posts, still drinking the water, still having the machine, still making progress. They're like, wow, Ryan, there's something to this. Tell me more. So great job, Ryan.
Yeah, I think everybody's had some very, very great, absolutely great points in terms of warm market prospecting. I think the consistency, like you say, Kevin, is really key. And Tammy, being who you are and attracting people who are attracted to you, super, super awesome. And sharing water is exactly how I do my business in terms of warm market as well. And I think at the end of the day, you have to remember that everybody has a little seed inside of them that it has a direction that maybe hasn't sprouted yet. And sometimes it's just about having conversation, being in the right energy, being in the right place, right time, and not worrying so much about an outcome of a conversation or a connection with somebody, and really just allowing people to be on their own journey while you're on yours. And the right people will come along for the ride in the right way. So if you have a predetermined vision of them being in business with you, that may not work. If you have a predetermined vision of them buying an Enagic water machine, that may not work. So don't have anything predetermined in your soul. Just have an energy of, compassion, passion for what you do and loving what you do as you do. And I think that the people will gravitate and open the door to a conversation that sort of lends itself going down the right path for them. So that's what I kind of focus on, is trying to, through conversation and just talking, what is it that's going to be right for them? What sort of direction should I take if I want to open the door for them? I remember, Kevin, when you and I used to get connected every 2-3 months, hey, how you doing? Catch up a little bit. You never ever once tried to hard sell me on anything, but you always opened the door to what was going on with your life. Then I would open the door to the next question of, what do you mean? And then you would go back and talk to me a little more about what I was interested in from the conversation we had. So I think it's super important to listen when you're talking to people, because they will always tell you whether, and believe me, if you open a door to somebody and make a comment about, oh my God, I can't believe how great I feel, and they don't go, why are you feeling so great? Don't go down that path. They're not in a position to listen to why you're feeling so great. They haven't opened the door for a conversation in that direction. So I always really try to listen closely to what people are saying as I'm having conversation, because it truly will allow you to know where they're at in terms of, what seed is sprouting in their life, or if it is even close to the surface. So that's kind of how I work my but that's how my warm market kind of comes to me, is through that kind of realization and listening.
A lot of wisdom from the ladies here.
And Jan, don't forget him.
And yes, well, from everybody, but yeah, I was, Tammy and Angela, you guys are very experienced. It comes down to one really simple concept, everybody, and it's abundance versus scarcity. You will never see somebody that's really successful chase people, right? You'll never see somebody that's really successful in their field, doesn't matter what field, and they don't come across as desperate. So when you're talking to people, whether it's warm market or cold, of course, the fortunes of the follow-up, but there's a way to follow up with posture and dignity versus, hey, so what did you think about my business? Or, hey, so what did you think? And you start chasing people, and then it starts to get awkward, and then you fall into the trap where now, because you're chasing after them, they're like, oh my God, like here they come again. Here comes Kevin pitching me some other opportunity. And that really pushes people away. Whereas if you use a very abundant approach, and when I say abundant, it's not that you don't go to people, you don't ask people questions. It's the fact that if I ask somebody something, or I pose a statement or a question, and they don't reciprocate, they're not curious, they don't give me energy, I know that energy is going to come from somewhere else. I'm not worried about that one person, that one lead, or that one prospect. Because that if you have that desperation in your voice or in your body, you're automatically, it's like garlic to a vampire. They're like, stay away from me. But if you have the posture of a leader and you know that sales are coming, the person that you're talking to, maybe it's them, maybe it's not. That is the mentality that you have to have. Hey, I'm not looking to sell this person. I'm looking to help them if they want my help. Have that posture at all times, and you're going to attract the right people into your life and into your. Sorry, I had a phone call there. Does that make sense, everybody? In terms of posture and what type of mindset you need to have when talking to people?
Totally. Yeah. Very cool.
Ryan, does that all help for you? You got a lot of feedback there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it really does all come down to self-confidence too. And, but yeah, no, it's come from a place of passion. I mean, that's where we're all most comfortable. And obviously Angela, the listening, knowing when to step in and when the time is right, things like that. Yeah, that's awesome. And I'm gonna, I took a bunch of notes there. So thank you, everyone.
Awesome work, Ryan. Great job, man. And congrats on making the business a family business.
Yeah, where everybody's pretty excited. So
that's great, man. There's something really special when, obviously working with our extended family like we have here is amazing. But when you get to impact and influence your flesh and blood, that's really special. It really is. So who else has a? Sorry, go ahead, Anne.
I've wished for that for years, Ryan. You're very, very fortunate.
So who else has a challenge that they'd like to bring up that they've recently had? Oh, hey, there's our Eduardo. Eduardo, congrats on your new baby, man. On a baby girl.
I missed
Thank you.
that. Congratulations.
Thank you. I was praying for a boy, but it was a girl.
Aw, lucky you. You're going to have a wisdom child for the rest of your life now. Aw.
No, the cool thing is that me and my wife agreed for one more time. One more time. So third time is the charm.
There you go. Congrats, Ed.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, and what else has been going on with you? You have a challenge, a victory to share. Obviously, having a new baby is a victory. Is there anything else?
No, it's just I'm still having trouble of targeting, trying to find my niche.
Okay.
But besides that, I'm still hustling, man.
Okay. Hey, I know you're a hustler, man. Let's dive into that though. You know, what is your targeting? What's your ad? Like, what are you after?
Well, I've been doing like everything with the ad in the back office, the ad manager training. I've been just targeting all those type of targets, but I haven't gotten really. I got like maybe like 1 or 2 leads, you know, every other then. But besides that, nothing. And then when I try to like, go ahead.
Are you doing post engagement or conversion?
Converting for leads.
Converting for leads. Okay. So you have no comment for info or anything like that.
Nothing. They go like directly in. They go directly to the webinar, the masterclass. But then when I try to contact them back, you know, I don't get no response whatsoever.
And that's okay. You know what? You will typically see. So I'll give you guys some stats right now. Cold leads, we're approximating 1 sale for every 74 leads. That's system wide, right? So if you're getting, let's say, $1 leads, then every $74 you should get a sale. That's what we're seeing as the average. That number is actually going is a little bit higher because some of the people that are doing post engagement, they are creating that relationship and that dialogue with their lead. So that increases the conversion, but it takes more time. So as an example, Julian, he generated 124 leads. He just got a new ad set up. He generated 124 leads and got 3 sales. No, he didn't touch them at all. It was direct conversion, straight to the webinar, and they bought. So that's 3 sales out of 124 leads. So when you look at, again, Eduardo, like when you say you reached out to them, no response, that's okay. Don't get attached to leads. I know, and I find myself falling in that as well. If you're doing post engagement and you have people reaching out to you, you're spending some time and energy, you're investing time and energy into these leads. You know, it's kind of disappointing if they don't get back to you, right?
Right.
But your thought process is that, hey, I'm going to get more of these every single day. So it doesn't matter what they say. Use every single lead and every coordination as feedback. Okay, what did I say this time? It didn't work. Okay, what should I say next time or the next 5 or 10 times? You know, what do I copy and paste?
Right.
So there's a way to do it and find qualified people to do it. You want to make sure that you're qualifying properly if you're doing post engagement.
Yeah, that's kind of like what my wife said too. She was like, you know, she's helping me out a lot. And, you know, she just pretty much told me too, like, just listen to what these guys say. Don't get too attached to them. And then just, you know, keep moving and keep posting up ads or whatever. So that's what I've been doing.
Awesome. Well, and sorry, who are you targeting?
Well, I've been targeting like entrepreneurs.
Okay.
That's pretty much everything I've been targeting lately.
Just entrepreneurship?
Just entrepreneurship. Yeah, because I try to do like single families and, you know, stuff like that, but I had like nothing, like no type of engagement, no type of nothing. Then I tried to go for like construction workers.
Yeah.
Same thing, nothing.
Can I give you a tip?
Yep.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
What do you love doing that you feel you're really natural at, or maybe gifted? Maybe you have a strength that just comes natural to you or you're very proud of. What's that one thing you like going out and doing, or maybe you did as a kid?
Well, that's what I'm trying to like find myself again, because like, you know, like I said before, in the count, what was it, like 2 weeks 2 weeks ago? You know, my passion was dancing before, but I feel like if I target back into my dancing type of hemisphere, it's like there won't be that much good qualified people. You get what I'm saying?
No, why?
I don't know. Well, most dancers don't want to do no marketing. Not that I know of.
So out of how many billion people on the planet do we have? Most dancers don't want to change their life. Because from what my exposure to people in the entertainment industry of dancing, for example, many of them might struggle financially because they're doing something they're very passionate about, but may not bring them a lot of money because why? It's a very saturated industry. Wouldn't you agree?
Right.
So you see how I already touched a point? You're very passionate about something, but it may not bring in the income that you'd love to do more of it. Maybe somebody's in an entertainment industry, like let's say not every dancer is going to make it to play shows in Vegas or Cirque du Soleil, for example. I actually have a very good friend that is not only a professional dancer, but he's a trainer, and he's trained all over the world, including the owners of Cirque du Soleil, right? However, one of the biggest struggles a lot of dancers have is they have to have a job, right? Because doing dancing costs money to whether it's attend event, competition, if you want to enter into anything, and if you want to, what's the word I'm looking for? Audition for different shows or events. So if that's a passion of yours, Eduardo, and I'm touching on it right now, I want you to ask yourself what prevented you from being able to make that your life versus the work you're doing now, right? If you had a choice, would you turn your passion for dancing into a career that you could enjoy every day, and then wouldn't it be awesome if you made money from it as well?
Well, yeah. I mean, that's what I was doing before. Yeah, I was sponsored with Nike.
Do you believe you're the only person who feels that way with your similar passion?
No, you got me.
I'm not here to prove you wrong. I'm here to open your mind. Right. If we feel we failed at something, if you judged yourself and felt you failed at something you're passionate about or didn't get to take it to the place you really love, sorry.
Where are they from? Like, new strain of mosquitoes.
I don't know where that boy.
I don't know what's going on. I can't hear you.
Okay, I muted Sheldon and Mac. Okay. Sorry, people hopping in. I believe at some point you may have felt maybe embarrassed, ashamed that you didn't turn that passion into the big thing that you really, really wanted, right? And now you're beating yourself up when it comes to advertising and marketing, saying, well, you know, I shouldn't really bring that up because I didn't even get to where I want to go. But you know what? I'm going to tell you something. That's what people relate to, is the fact that you're being you're being yourself, you're not being manufactured, you're not online saying the same spiel like Angela brought up last week when people talk about laptop lifestyle and all the same stuff we hear everywhere, right? You are now talking about your passion. You know what? This was something I really, really loved, and I didn't get to fulfill it, or I didn't get to bring it to the finish line. I'm now doing something that's going to help me bring it to the finish line or bring it up so I can start living that again or enjoying it again, right? Right. Imagine inspiring somebody with that passion by sharing your authentic story and connecting. Remember I talked about relationship funnel? Connecting that relationship with somebody. And you're not pitching them anything. You're just opening their mind, and you're also letting them know they're not alone. And now you can talk about a subject you both can equally speak to at the same level.
Right.
Does that make sense?
No, yeah, most definitely. I think the only thing that I didn't go for it was because, you know, like, I've been just listening to what everybody's been doing. So I just been like targeting, you know, what everybody says to target, you know, what mostly attracts other people, you know. But I'll give it a shot, you know. I never know. You never know. So. Well,
you're doing the right thing, and you know what? You are doing the right thing by exactly what you said. I'm taking the advice of what everyone else is doing, being here in this mastermind and opening up and having this conversation, that's where we start to dig deeper. That's where we peel the layers. That's where we find where could you, Eduardo, as an individual, personalize your marketing. Because there's always going to be an even playing field. If we're all baseball players, we're all going to play on the same diamond, right? But every player in the team has a unique skill and background. Not every player goes home at the end of the game and does the same thing. They probably have other passions outside of baseball, right?
Right.
So you as an individual in this community, you have your own individuality, which is going to connect to other individuals in the world that are looking for that. So kudos to you for being here and bringing that up, and everyone else who is. And this is the real reason for these masterminds, is to let's help us customize who you're targeting, how and why, and what changes you need to do as an individual business owner and marketer to connect to that person.
Oh yeah, I agree.
I think if I could just add something, I think that this conversation has been like so inspiring just to me. Just listening to where Tammy's coming from, it's so right on. When I listened to Winning Wednesday and listened to Dakota talk about what do you do when you're first in and you haven't done anything yet, and he really talked about just taking who you are, where you are, and being real. And your story alone, like I had no idea that you were a dancer. If I saw you talk about how you were kind of trying to follow the path of others to do the thing everybody else was doing, when you realized that really your path was to be you, and then start talking about that, think about how many people are going to be able to connect to that. Right. How many people in this world do things because they're following everybody else's path? And that alone, you could target just about anybody, and I think there would be a little touch there that would connect you with people. It wouldn't matter. I don't think it would matter who you targeted. I think it'd be incredible. Yeah, super awesome, Tammy.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, I just want to touch up on that real quick, if that's okay. If you do target dancing, you know, it might
something that perhaps different age demographics.
Oh,
right, different ages, different states. Because you're in Texas, right?
Well, no, I'm in Illinois now.
You're in Illinois, okay. So, you know, going after a demographic. I mean, there's a lot of things that you can target. Going after Gary Vee and Ty Lopez, all that. Those are great. Those are great targets. But if they're not working for you, try something different. I would also really like to look at your ad, Ed, and take a look at the headline. Did you get a chance to tune into Transformation Tuesday?
Which one? This week? Yeah. I had to catch the replay.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I'd like to take a look at your ad, and maybe we can do that either later or after the call.
Yeah.
Take a look and see what we can change.
Yeah, I'll show you after work.
Cool.
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate all the feeds.
Of course. That's what we're here for, man. That's the power of a team.
Hell yeah.
Is that the sum is greater than the parts.
Yes, sir.
So let's dive in, guys. We're a little 5 minutes early, but you know, for the leadership discussion, who has some feedback from Chapter 4, creating positive change?
This one was perfect for me this week, I gotta say. Diving into Chapter 4 actually related perfectly into my own personal life. And my personal life is tied to my business, right? Because what I do in my life is what attracts my market, okay, my avatar. And, you know, just going over adopting change, and then the process, even just the psychological process of change that's happening in your life. So, you know, for me, for many of you who know, I've literally got rid of probably down to 85% of everything, maybe 90. I think I'm at 90% of everything I've owned is gone. And I have some boxes and a treadmill. And this week it really crashed hard on me when I looked around and I realized, oh my gosh, I'm going to have some boxes in storage and some bins in my car, and I'm traveling across Canada. And I realized, that I didn't realize how huge of a change it was, because this is the first time in my life that I've done that. And that was a huge change. But in this chapter, it talks about not just throwing change in the air and saying, okay, so everyone, today, starting next week, we're all doing our mastermind this way. Now, all of you would probably go, what do you mean we're all doing it this way? Well, what do I have to do differently? And everyone is going to think about, how is that going to affect me, and what do I need to give up, and what is my sense of loss, right? So in this chapter, it talks about the process of, it's kind of like a planting seeds process, right? You're planting seeds, you're preparing yourself. So although in this chapter it talks about preparing your team and the people in your organization about change that's going to happen, which includes involving them, going to them for feedback and so forth. For me, in this personal situation, I didn't really have I didn't reach out for feedback, for advice, for anything. I literally just went on a whim, right? And, all of a sudden a massive change happened in my life that I was absolutely not prepared for. So I planted seeds to do the move as far as getting rid of my stuff, traveling across Canada, and building my business literally from my car and wherever I plan to stop that day or week to visit friends and family across the country, right? However, I had something land on my plate that changed the direction of what happens in 90 days. And I was not prepared for that at all. And then I realized, as per the chapter, what are the things that I have to give up? And that is where the fear in change happens, is we ask ourselves, what are the things we have to give up? And for me, like I said, this chapter helped me not only on the business side, because I've been a manager for many, many years. So I've always understood what it was like to create cultural change in my own teams and organizations, and to involve key people in decision making, and for key people to buy in that change. So now you have people on your side bringing the change forward. So if, let's say Jan, you're on my team, and Angela and Ryan are the people I collaborate with, I would go to Angela and Ryan and say, hey, I'd like your feedback on, creating this kind of change, or this process doesn't seem to be working, Ryan. What would be your feedback on it? And I'd do the same with Angela, because maybe you two are the two people I collaborate with and trust. And I know once you do or adopt something you believe in, you bring it forward. And then now I have two more people on my side having that conversation with Jan and the team, but just planting that seed, right? And Jan might be saying, oh, I don't know, because Tammy's the only one who sees this change as a need. But if Jan and everyone else saw, oh, well, Ryan really believes in this, and then Ryan shares his feedback, and then Angela believes in this and she shares her feedback, or maybe the study that she did on the question I had for her, and say, yeah, you know what, actually 90% of people do this or behave this way. And now she comes up with stats and facts. All of a sudden, people start to buy in a little bit more, right? So when it comes to adopting change, it's really learning how to roll it out as a leader. It's not just about saying, you know what, I think this is a great idea and I'm going to tell everyone about it, right? It's taking time and being patient with your ideas, and being patient in planting the seeds and rolling them out, patiently asking questions, and patiently seeing who is already adopting the change, and then patiently finding through that and sifting through everyone who is going to give friction to this, and then find out why, right? In the process, before you even roll out the said change that's going to happen, right? So I think here it's a lot about research, patience, getting people to buy into your idea, but also learn and discover from them what can they put into the idea of the change that you have or that you want to roll out in place as well. Because you never know what you're going to learn from other people, other leaders, and people that you collaborate with, right? So that's a lot of what I took in. There was a lot more. That was a big chapter for me.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing, Tammy. That's very valuable insight. Who else has some thoughts on this chapter?
I'll go super quickly. It'll probably take me literally 90 seconds. People don't so much resist change. They resist changing themselves. And again, in the chapter, he goes through some sports analogy that I could relate to. And one of them is golf. A lot of times, if you self-teach yourself golf, you're going to, even if you're somewhat athletic, you might be okay for a little bit. You might be able to hit some balls, but then you can't get any better. And then you go and get lessons. And I can so relate to that because I went through it. You go and get lessons, and they say, well, the only thing you have to change about your swing is everything. So you redo your feet, the way you put your ankle, your waist, your arms, everything, and it doesn't feel right at all. And even know that even when you're practicing, your ball actually might be going a lot straighter, a lot better. Eventually, it's very normal that you're going to go back to old ways because that's how it feels. And it's a lot like that with business. It's like that with relationships. It's like that with everything in life. So again, like Tammy said, you can't just shove change into someone and be like, here you go, this is the way it is now. Everyone reacts to change very differently. So as a leader, it's up to you to identify how to approach certain individuals. And Tammy elaborated on that quite a bit. And the other thing too that really got to me in this is at the end when before people embrace the change, they got to make sure before they buy into the change, they got to buy in you first. You got to ask yourself, are you the leader that people want to follow? Are they going to follow your vision because it's you, right? Because sometimes if you're a new leader, or if you haven't been consistent, or if you haven't been leading with integrity already and you're trying to come up with change, odds are people are not going to follow you. But if you do all those things, if you lead with integrity, if you have consistency, if you care about people, if you have results, if you show people how to get results, then it doesn't really matter what the change is. People will follow you because they trust you. And those are probably the two main things I got out of that.
Awesome, brother. Thank you for sharing, man. That's awesome. Anybody have additional thoughts on chapter 4?
I did.
Yeah, go for it, Joanne.
This chapter was one of the more interesting chapters to me because before, I really enjoyed the individual steps of the plan ahead. And before, it says to go on and use them in the future, or starting now in the future. But before I go and use them in the future, I stopped in this chapter. It took me the longest to read and understand this one because I stopped a lot and I was like, okay, where was I at this particular one? Predetermining the change that was needed, right? 6 months ago, I thought back to where I was and I was like, what was the change that was needed? And then I can use that in the future as I move forward. And the adjusting my priorities is it's a new one, actually. I just actually started doing that because my priorities were not very on point for about 5.5 months. So they're just starting to get a little more on point than they used to be. So going back and looking at where I was in all of the steps, it really helped me understand where I could take them and how I could use them in the future moving forward. That's the part I liked about this. I stopped a lot and it took me back to the past a lot. Just looking at where I was at different points in the past 6 months. That's really all I can think back to. I don't like to think back further than 6 months before.
And how are you planning ahead? Where do you see yourself in the next 6 months? Implementing some of these strategies and principles.
That's where my priorities are kind of taking a different change because I don't think I had, obviously I had priorities, but I didn't think too much about them. They just were kind of happening and I didn't bring awareness to them at all. They've changed up my priorities with mostly around time and realizing that it's a precious thing and not to give it away to just anybody who comes along, because that's what I was doing. If a friend would come by and be like, hey, let's do this, that, or the other thing. And if I had something that I knew that I had to do, obviously I know that I have to do it and that I should be doing it because that's what successful people are doing. And I choose not to do it because I go out with my friend. That's, to me now, that's a waste of my time. And I know it may sound like super selfish or whatever, and I may lose friends over it, but I'm at the point right now in my life where I could care less about who enters or comes into my life for a little bit and then exit because they don't like what I'm doing. And that's where the plan ahead comes in. It's it may take a little bit of time for people to adjust to that, and that's totally okay. But this is where I'm taking it for like starting, it was like 2-3 weeks ago, and continuing on into the future is my priorities are getting a lot tighter on where I actually want to take myself and my future team, and what I want to actually, the legacy that I want to leave. That's what this chapter really got me thinking about. And I've already lost 2 friends in 3 weeks, and I'm just super ecstatic about it.
Because you didn't lose 2 friends. You didn't lose 2 friends. You made room for 2 more. I don't like to use the word lose. Me and Colton even talked about this. They've been released.
Yeah, it's true. Some people are not on the same path, and that's okay. You know, we can't create the future. We can't drag people along, and you know, that is the one thing I think that is a disproportionate fear for people coming into this industry and learning about growth and leadership is, you know, they think that they're going to lose friends, but really, are those the friends that you want to keep? Right? It doesn't mean that you don't love them. It doesn't mean you don't care for them. But are they the ones that you want to build a future with? Just because they've been close to you in the past doesn't mean that they're helping you to get to your future. So, you know, that's a big realization, Joanna. I'm glad that you said that.
But that's one of the things that was kind of like that I allowed. It wasn't a thing that was holding me back. It's a thing that I was allowing to hold me back. Was that very fear of what I would have to give up, right? And like that really hit me in this entire chapter. I'm like, I thought that almost the entire time was I'll do this, and this, and the personal growth because that I enjoy this, and I don't really lose much. I gain, right? But when it came to losing, you know, small things, mediocre things, huge things, every one of them was a fear for me, and I was like, well, I don't want to lose that. So I'm not going to do this, or I'm not going to expand and evolve into this next process. And then I started to think, well, where am I going? I'm kind of being stagnant right now in my, like I'm growing personally, but like in my business, it was kind of like a standstill. And then eventually it starts to creep you backwards. So I was like, oh shit, I don't want to go backwards and I don't want to stand still. The only option I really have a desire for is to move forward. So what is it that I have to do? I have to accept that there's going to be change, whether people like it or not, accept that I want to change, and whatever comes from it comes from it. Like if people end up being released, I accept that. If people end up following along, I accept that. So that fear kind of just clicked in this chapter of not being a fear anymore. It was weird.
That's awesome. Great job, Joanne. Great job. Any other insights from creating positive change?
I wanted to kind of go back to what Jan said because it triggered a memory of the chapter as well when he talked about, you know, adopting a new skill and learning a new habit. And in this particular chapter, he spoke about a golfer, right? And used to swing. He was never taught professionally. He would just go to the course and just swing and kind of self-taught himself. Then he decided to learn from a professional, and the professional said to him, in order for you to get really good at this or to get better at this, you're going to have to stop doing things in your natural state. You're going to have to change the way you naturally do something. And then he talked about if you put your hands together, everyone. So everybody try this. Just cross your fingers naturally like you normally would. Now that feels totally natural and comfortable, right? Now separate your hands and do them completely opposite. Like don't use this, switch it over, and the thumb that you would normally put on top, do the other thumb. Now he says in your mind is actually battling and wanting you to go back to doing this because it's comfortable and it feels natural for you, right? So even in your business, you may have to do things that don't feel natural, but it's only because it's the first time or the first few times you're applying that change or that new skill. And it's so true when you think about it. In order for you to get from here in life to here in life, would you not agree that you're going to have to stop doing things the same comfortable way? You're going to have to get uncomfortable, do things that feel a bit awkward, you know, until they're like, I'm getting a bit better. I'm understanding this. This is not how I usually think, talk, or behave or respond. but this person's doing this pro is doing it that way and it's working. Now you're now starting a new way to adopting that new skill and that change. So that really stood out for me when Jan brought that up. And I don't know if you've ever done boxing before, Jan, but I'm pretty sure you're probably going to have to do some things that don't feel natural to you. Like you said, punching someone in the face is not something you like to do.
Tammy, let me elaborate more on your point about you brought up golfing. I've had the pleasure to meet Mo Norman. You guys Google him. He was one of Canada's most introverted, famous golfers all time. So he was on a par 5, and he was playing with someone, and he said, "What do you usually hit?" "Driver, 7-iron." So he hit a 7-iron off the tee. I don't know if you guys are golfers, but he hit the 7-iron off the tee and then hit a driver onto the green to putt eagle. And they said, "Why'd you do that?" "Well, you didn't tell me the order." Like, he was so introverted. And you know what? He never had the luxury of people coaching him and all that, but he was one of Canada's best golfers all time.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Crazy.
That's awesome. And it's all about getting comfortable. You know what they say, get comfortable getting uncomfortable.
And he was comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That was his, you know what? Like,
yep.
He's a role model for everybody. Like, people look at him like a weirdo, but no, he wasn't. Like, he was, you know what? People should look up to him as like, man, oh man, like, he was actually genius.
Yeah, that's awesome. I like what Ron wrote in the comments. He says it's hard to fly like an eagle when you hang out with turkeys. And I think he meant that to you, Joanne. But I'm sure all of us here have had turkeys in our life, or probably still have turkeys that you need to, you know, cook up, or I don't know what.
I just stole that and put it on Facebook, by the way. Thanks, Ron.
Stolen.
You've been thieved.
Awesome. Any other thoughts around this chapter? We haven't heard from everybody. Justin, Jenny, Mac, Liz, who's got thoughts on creating positive change? Justin, not caught up on it? Okay, that's all right.
Kevin, you read my story today, so we didn't talk about change in my story, but my entire career has always been about change and how you bring change into people's lives. And I think Tammy was right, and it's like they look up to you to bring positive change into their lives and how it's going to make them better. Change is always good. I totally agree. Change is always good. You may think it's negative at first, but you know what? It's always positive. So
well,
when
even in the book, it says that, Remus.
What's that?
It says people will say change is good, but they don't want to change themselves.
No, absolutely. But that's as a leader, you always want to bring out the best in them.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely.
It's because people fear having to change something in themselves. They want to see the end result of what happens when you adopt a certain change. Because a lot of people, what he did in the book is he said, you know, raise your hand if you like change, and it's like everyone in the room raised their hand because they like the end result of what happens when you change things, because they all want to change.
You know what? And that's a lie, because they don't. Because I went through it.
They like change because the end result. What happens is the second question was, he asked, "Do you want to change yourself?" And and nobody raised their hand. Right?
Exactly.
So it's that part. So yes.
No, you're absolutely right. No, that's exactly right. People, they wanted to change, but they didn't want to change themselves, for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I'll share that next time we're on a barbecue.
Yay! Kevin, when's the next barbecue? Before I leave?
Well, we have our monthly mastermind here coming up next week. Yeah, next week.
That's the day I'm moving.
Yeah, next week. So Remus has offered. Well, sorry, I don't want to put you on the spot here, Remus. You didn't offer your place, but we'll talk about that. So we'll have our mastermind at the regular location, but then perhaps we'll do something. Enjoy the social somewhere afterwards.
Yeah.
So awesome. Any other thoughts? I'll share mine, guys. I love the acronym plan ahead. I mean, all of those points are so key. But the one that really stands out to me is for leadership, expect problems. Plan ahead. The E in ahead is the third last point, and it's expect problems. And for me, it's even more evident now working behind the scenes with GAZ, but in leadership in general, you have to be able to embrace the fact that there's problems. Because entrepreneurship and leadership, you are the problem solver, right? People are looking to you because you can provide wisdom, you can provide insight, you can provide advice, direction, and people aren't coming to you because things are roses and daisies. If everything was smooth sailing, why would they come to you? We'd all have six packs and have $1 billion in our bank accounts if there were no problems, right? So by being a leader, you are naturally a problem solver. So if you're not naturally a problem solver now, that's okay. Just know that for you to step into leadership is a result of you being a problem solver, you solving problems, you anticipating problems, and you being able to minimize problems. That really is a very, I think it's an oversight by a lot of people because they think, well, if I go make a lot of sales, I'm going to go make some money and then all my problems are going to go away. Whereas the reverse is true. You start making sales, you start making money, and it is true. The more money you have, the more problems you have as well. For a variety of reasons. We don't need to get into that now, but for the most part, it's because if you're making a lot of money, it's because you are involved with many people, maybe in different capacities, perhaps different businesses, different. There's a lot of moving parts. So being able to embrace problems, you will notice that as you grow your level of leadership, you will start to become more immune to problems. And it doesn't mean that the problems don't exist. It just means that they won't affect you negatively as much as they did before. So the better you can cope with problems, the more leadership capacity you have. Because believe me, if you guys think about this for a second, your leader, whoever that might be, whoever you look up to, if they cracked and broke down and started, bawling or throwing a fit or crying at a problem, would you want to follow them? I'm assuming not. So the better you can deal with and address problems, face them head on, and move beyond the problem, the more leadership capacity you have. So that's what really stood out to me. And the last point, when he talks about credibility, I don't think you can ever have a leader that doesn't have credibility. So the word it's not spoken a lot in terms of leadership, although I believe it is a real integral part of being a leader. What is your credibility? Do you have credibility with the things that you say? Do you do the things that you say? You follow through? Are you a person when it comes to credibility where you embody the image of a leader? Through, again, I'm not saying appearance is everything, but how you act, how you carry yourself, the level of energy you have, that all adds up into your credibility as well. So, those are my thoughts, guys. Any other thoughts? Anybody like to add? I'd love to hear from Mr. Stables. Mr. Stables has been pretty quiet today.
Hey, guys.
There he is. What's up, Harv?
I'm good.
Love seeing that smiling face, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I've just been enjoying all the stories and everybody shares and insights to the book. I actually haven't had a chance to grab the book yet, so it's been very insightful already, and I'm looking forward to grabbing it.
You haven't read it before, Harv?
No, I haven't. No.
Well, okay.
Book, so.
Harv, okay, so you haven't read it yet. That's okay. Do you mind if I put you on the spot for 9 minutes?
For 9 whole minutes.
Well, it was just, we'll cut off at 90 minutes, so we've got 8 minutes left technically, and my clock just hit 8:22. So, but you've been in leadership positions before, Harv. What is the power, or what is the process of creating positive change in people that are new to the community, new to the team? You've built big organizations in the past. What's your thought process on creating positive change within a team?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of components to it, and I mean, you guys have been touching on a lot of them when it comes to leadership. Everything rises and falls with leadership. I think the authenticity, the vibration of the individuals, the character of each leader. We all have different strengths, we have different personalities, and we're all going to resonate with a different tribe. But I think the vibration is going to be what we share, and when you can buy into a vision, and I think Kevin's fantastic with that, with painting the vision and making it huge and expanding people and challenging people to step up, as he just did right now and called me out to speak on here. It's important to do that with each other, not to only to raise each other up. You know what I mean? It's important, and as a leader, or as a friend, that's important to do for each other. Call each other out on our crap or where we're falling short or less than what we're capable of. And we're all guilty of from time to time. Nobody is immune to any of it. I don't care how successful you are, how amazing you are. We all are going to have those moments. But, the one thing that I think separates some of the great ones from the people that are kind of on that journey or just starting out is the resilience and how long you stay in those places, right? Because life's going to hit you. It's going to smack you in the lips. It's going to break your teeth. You're going to have to get up. You're going to be bleeding. You're going to have to wipe yourself off. And how long are you going to stay down? It's as far as creating the positive change, just finding the positive in everything, right? With these challenges and this, what we do in entrepreneurs, we're designed, or where our success is going to come from is from being better problem solvers, right? And not like Kevin said, if the person you're looking to, cries every time you go to them with an issue or a problem and they can't figure it out, or maybe they don't even have the answer, but knowing where to get it, how to find it, how to collaborate and come up with the best solution is huge. Yeah. Hopefully that answers your question.
Love it, Harvey. And I called out Harvey obviously because he's got a ton of experience. He's on a level of vibration that people really, really fall in love with. And I think that's really important because as you communicate with prospects and leads, we've got something very, very special and very unique here in that we get to have people come to us. So when they're coming to you through Facebook Messenger, they're coming through your ads, or they're coming through your emails, reflect on how am I going to have positive change on this person? If, let's say they're just a lead, start thinking about, regardless of if this person buys, if this person presses the submit button and buys a membership, how can I leave this person feeling good and being a better person than before when they met me? Maybe there's a person that has already bought. Now you've got a micro commitment. $99, it's a micro commitment. It's not a huge commitment. So if they've got a GAZ membership and now you're helping them with their coaching process, you're helping them get set up, you've set up a group chat, you've added them to the groups, what else can you do to be a positive influence, a positive impact in that person's life? There's a saying in traditional network marketing. They say, how do you move your team forward? It's by pouring life into them. And when people, top leaders, when they talk about pouring life, it's not by just pouring information. It's by opening their minds to their own potential, opening their minds to new possibilities, and opening their minds to probabilities if they're willing to do certain things. So that is a lot of the influence that we talk about, or how what Michael Burnoff talked about in Vegas is when you have influence, you can have impact. And when you have impact, you can have income. All of those things come together, right? Because we have a lot of people, and it's not a fault of their own, where they look at this business and they say, hey, I want to make a lot of money and I'm going to make a lot of sales. And they probably will. But I believe that mentality falls short on what we truly are capable of, which is making an impact along with the income. Because making money truly is easy. How many of you have made money before? How many of you made income through the internet? Right? A lot of us have. Most of us have. But making an impact along with that, that's what is going to be really special. That's where in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years down the road, you're going to say, hey, you know what? I made a lot of money, but that's not what is top of mind. I was able to affect hundreds or thousands or tens of thousands of lives because of what we did with GAZ and Enagic. That's what's really powerful. And remind yourself of that every single day. Because when you start to forget and you start to have that memory lapse and forget why you're here, that's when you start to allow yourself to get distracted. You allow yourself to get lazy. You allow yourself to not prioritize what you tell yourself you're prioritizing. You're saying, I've got all these big goals and dreams, but then you start to deprioritize them because you've lost a sense of how much impact you truly can have. We talk about ripple effect all the time. It's true. And that ripple effect, though, it doesn't have to be a slow, small ripple. It can be massive. And it's up to us to be able to, number one, decide that we're going to do it. Number two, commit to that decision. And number three, follow through. So remind yourself every single day of what you're capable of. And don't let, some of us are still working. That's fine. Don't let the people that are not helping you, don't let them influence you. Don't let the other stuff influence you. Don't let, watching TV at night, or don't let those things get in the way, because I, without a doubt, firmly believe that every single person that starts a business like this has the ability to do something truly great where, and again, it might sound cliche, but to create that legacy of an impact that in the next decade or maybe two, you can have tens of thousands of people that know your name because you made an impact in their life based on something you said, based on something you did, something you posted. Maybe you worked with them one-on-one. Maybe you helped them get over some sort of crisis. We all have that ability. And I think we have to stop. And I'm generalizing here. We as people need to stop short selling ourselves on what we're capable of doing. Especially with this platform. Literally, you could touch thousands of people every single day with our platform. So don't sell yourself short. Don't minimize your goals. Think big, dream bigger. Be a dream crusher. And let's go make it a phenomenal rest of our lives. So with that, guys, we will have another mastermind next Thursday, and then our monthly mastermind will be next Saturday, and we will carry on. So next chapter on the leadership discussion, chapter 5, problem solving. So if you guys aren't there yet, read that chapter. It's great. And don't forget to post your thoughts in the Epic group, in the thread there. You know, it's very important that even though we're learning, sharing and teaching is how you are going to absorb more of that information. So, any other closing remarks, guys? Anybody want to add anything?
Well, your last comment went directly in line with what we learned in Vegas, which is learn, do, and teach. So what you learn, go do it, and then go teach it. And you hit the nail on the head, Kevin, because any great mentor of mine in business taught me how to become a better speaker, a better leader, by advising me to constantly be coaching others. And he explained to me that, Tammy, the more you teach, the more you learn. You can read all day long, you can listen, you can attend events and webinars and masterminds all day long. But until you open yourself up to teach others and to apply that knowledge, you're never going to really grow, because teaching forces you to stretch that muscle, and it encourages them to do the same thing as well. So I really love the learn, do, teach concept, because I found that just totally ties it up tonight.
Awesome.
So whatever you guys learned tonight, and your team, and you might have a team and they're not here, have a follow-up call with them and say, hey, you know what? Sorry you missed the mastermind yesterday. Don't make them feel guilty about it. And just what you do is you just share your excitement and say, I got to tell you what I learned, what I did different with this information, and how can I help you apply that in your life or your business. That's how you step up as a leader.
Awesome advice, Tammy. Thank you, everybody, for sharing. Appreciate all of you and love what everybody shared today. Honestly, it was amazing. Oh, no, we're getting heart symbols now, so that's awesome. Awesome, everybody. Well, have a fantastic evening. Enjoy whatever drink you have in your hand. Toast to you guys, and we will talk to you guys here soon. Take care, everybody.
Have a good night, everyone.